The Galactic Council chamber hovered in eternal orbit above the swirling clouds of Orus 9. From the outside, its crystalline towers shimmered like frozen lightning. Inside, the air was heavy with authority and centuries of arrogance. Rows of alien delegates filled the platforms, their banners glowing in colors humans had no words for. The chamber had been designed to intimidate. Its scale alone reduced newcomers to silence. At the far end sat the Terran delegation, isolated in a modest alcove. No banners hung above them, no decorative crests or symbols of power. Just a plain flag of blue and green, easily dwarfed by the kaleidoscope of alien emblems around it. Admiral Helena Voss sat rigid, her back straight, hands folded, face unreadable. The woman had spent her life on starship bridges, and she carried herself like a steel beam driven through granite. Her uniform was unadorned, save for a single insignia at the collar, subtle, functional. She spoke rarely in these sessions, preferring to observe, but when she did, others listened, if only because her voice lacked the desperate tremor so common among human diplomats. Beside her stood Ambassador Laren Holt. The man was young for his role, barely into his 40s, his eyes restless. He cleared his throat as the floor shifted control to Chancellor Xerix of the Calvari Dominion. Xerix rose like a serpent uncoiling. Tall, scales glimmering beneath the chamber's light, his every motion deliberate. When he spoke, his voice carried with rehearsed grandeur, amplified by the chamber's acoustics. Once again, he declared, the matter before us concerns the Terran species, a people of haste and hunger, whose brief lives drive them to reckless acts. They stand accused of violating Council arms restrictions. They construct weapons beyond their quota. They build in secret, perhaps plotting war. A ripple of disdain passed through the chamber. Alien voices muttered agreement. A winged delegate let out a high, trilling laugh. Xerix continued, savoring the performance. Let us not forget, colleagues, these humans were admitted reluctantly. Their history is a litany of conflict. They are not tempered by centuries of wisdom as we are. They burn too hot. Too fast. Another delegate, a rotund being with crystalline skin, chimed in. They are children with fire in their hands. They cannot be trusted with matches, much less fleets. Laughter spread across the tiers, sharp and mocking. The sound echoed like a storm of contempt. Ambassador Holt stiffened. The accusations are unfounded. Humanity has complied with all inspections. Every shipyard is registered, every vessel logged. Xerix raised a clawed hand, silencing him with a gesture. Inspections? Conducted by whom? Humans themselves. A species judging its own crimes? Absurd. You expect the galaxy to believe your words over the truth our instruments reveal? Spare us. The chamber erupted again, this time with sneers and chuckles. Holt swallowed, forcing composure. Earth asks only for fairness. Fairness? Xerix hissed. His eyes swept the room like a predator savoring its kill. Fairness is earned. Humanity has brought nothing but disorder. You cling to the edges of our union like barnacles, contributing little, demanding much. Perhaps it is time the Council consider restrictions. The last word landed heavy. Delegates shifted forward. Restrictions meant sanctions. Sanctions meant stripping Earth of faster-than-light rights, reducing humanity to an isolated, defenseless world. Helena Voss had remained still throughout the barrage, her face carved in stone. Only now did she stir. Her voice cut through the chamber, low and precise. It is easy to mock what you do not understand, Chancellor. The chamber quieted for a moment, the sudden calm almost shocking. Xerix turned, his grin widening. Ah, the soldier speaks. Tell me, Admiral, will you lecture us on honor? Or will you recite the primitive wars of your homeworld? Voss's gaze locked with his, unwavering. You see impatience in our lives because yours are long. You see conflict in our history because you ignore your own. Every species here has fought for survival. We are no different. But unlike many, we remember every slight. Every insult. A murmur ran through the crowd. Delegates shifted, some amused, others unsettled. Xerix leaned forward, savoring the moment. And what will memory buy you, human? Do you imagine your short-lived kind can outlast the Dominion? Outlast the Council? You are a footnote written in fading ink. The laughter resumed, louder now. Holt's fists clenched at his sides, knuckles white. He leaned toward Helena, whispering, "We can't hold this line. They'll push sanctions through." Helena didn't blink. Her eyes never left Xerix. "They already decided. This theater is for show." Xerix raised both arms, addressing the chamber like an emperor receiving worship. "Esteemed council, let us vote. Sanctions will preserve order. The Terrans may keep their world, their oceans, their fragile peace, but no fleets. No colonization. No more chances for them to upset the balance." The hall filled with approving noises, the swell of agreement rising like a tide. Holt's face paled. He opened his mouth, but Helena's hand on his arm stopped him. She spoke calm, deliberate. "You mistake patience for weakness, Chancellor." Xerix sneered. "And you mistake your presence here for significance. The Council indulged humanity. That indulgence ends today." Helena leaned close to Holt, her voice low, meant only for him. "Signal the relay. Protocol Revenant." Holt blinked, startled. "Now?" "No," she said, eyes locked on the Chancellor. The ambassador hesitated only a heartbeat before slipping a discreet command into the data pad before him. Xerix, oblivious, raised his voice for the final proclamation. "Let the vote begin. Humanity's fate shall be sealed. Their arrogance ends here, their chapter closed." Applause shook the chamber, alien voices layered in scorn. Delegates leaned forward, eager to cast their judgment. Helena Voss remained perfectly still, her expression unreadable. But her words, spoken barely above a whisper, carried to those nearest her. "Let them laugh a little longer." The chapter ended in that silence, one calm human amid a sea of jeering species, her eyes fixed on the serpent Chancellor, as unseen orders sped outward into the void. The council chamber still buzzed with satisfaction. Delegates whispered, traded smirks, and prepared their votes, believing the outcome already sealed. To them, humanity's fate was a foregone conclusion. They did not see the quiet man at the Terran desk send a single encrypted signal through a pad no larger than his hand. They did not hear the pulse that leapt across space in less than an instant, bypassing every alien interceptor net. Beyond Oris 9, hidden in the black, shadows moved. The hidden arsenal. Far from the Council, at the ragged edge of the solar system, the Oort cloud concealed more than ice and debris. Suspended within veils of static fields and gravitic distortion, an entire fleet slept. Each vessel was coated in a dark alloy that devoured light. Sensors searching the void would find only emptiness. The fleet had no official name. To the crews, it was the Eidolon. Ghosts built to remain unseen. The flagship TNS Revenant stirred first. Deep in its core, lights shimmered across control panels as power returned from dormancy. Massive engines, silent for months, awakened with a hum too soft for alien ears to catch. In one synchronized motion, the entire armada roused as if from a long, patient dream. On the bridge of the Revenant, Admiral Helena Voss stood before the panoramic display. Her reflection hovered against a field of stars, her expression iron. Her executive officer, Commander Darien Cole, joined her, his voice steady but edged withal. "Orders confirmed, Admiral. Fleet is awake. Protocol Revenant engaged." "Hold them cloaked," Voss said. "No movement until my signal. They will never see us coming." Cole nodded. "Some of the younger crews are restless. They've trained in silence for years, waiting for this call. They'll have their chance," Voss replied. "Patience is our weapon. It brought us here. It will finish the work." Humanity's long road. Decades earlier, Earth had endured humiliation after humiliation. Trade embargoes strangled their industries. Colonies were dismissed as illegal outposts. Alien commentators mocked every human advance as mimicry of greater species. Each insult cut deeper than the one before, yet humanity swallowed its anger and played the part of the obedient newcomer. But obedience was only surface. Beneath it, something else had grown. Shipyards bloomed in secret, enormous frames hidden among drifting comets, cloaked from foreign eyes. Engineers labored in silence, guided by directives that were never written down, only passed through whispers among trusted circles. What emerged were ships unlike anything in the Council's registers, vessels designed to erase the very concept of detection. The Council believed their sensor webs absolute. They trusted in centuries of dominance. No one imagined a species so new, so mocked, could break their certainty. But Helena Voss had imagined it. She had built her career on it. The Council tightens the noose. Back in the chamber, Chancellor Xerix raised his arms, feeding the momentum of the vote. His words were thick with venom, dripping confidence. Colleagues, the humans are dangerous precisely because they are so small. Like vermin, they infest and consume, leaving ruin in their path. Today we end this farce of equality. Today, we declare them bound. Ambassador Holt tried again, voice hoarse but insistent. You call us dangerous, yet we've upheld every treaty. Our colonies prosper peacefully. You dismiss us because we refuse to bow, not because we've broken laws. Xerix turned, scales glimmering under the chamber lights. Peaceful? Your history is one of slaughter. Even now your fleets expand beyond their quota. You deny it, but the galaxy does not need your denial. It needs assurance. Assurance that your kind will remain where it belongs, on one fragile world. Applause filled the chamber. Dozens of voices overlapped, approving, eager to vote. Holt's composure cracked. He leaned toward Voss, whispering harshly, "They'll strip us of faster-than-light access. Our colonies will starve. We'll be trapped." Helena's reply was calm, almost cold. "Not trapped. Not anymore. The Eidolon moves." Out beyond Oris 9, the black void rippled. Ships the size of mountains slid between folds of shadow, their engines whispering without heat or trace. Dreadnoughts armed with rail cannons kilometers long formed the backbone of the formation, while lean destroyers glided in silent flanks. Carriers, each carrying waves of strike craft, moved as if choreographed by a single thought. Inside the Revenant, the crew watched their admiral, waiting. Their eyes were alight not with fear but with a restrained hunger. They were children of a generation told their species was weak, and now they sailed in machines built to prove the opposite. Commander Cole broke the silence. "Sensors confirm we're in position. Council defense grids remain blind. We could decloak and fire before they even sound alarms." Voss did not move. "We will not fire first. Not yet. Power and patience, Commander. They mock us because they believe we lack both." Pressure in the chamber. The voting began. Crystals pulsed along the chamber's walls as delegates cast their judgments. One by one, tallies lit up, overwhelmingly in favor of sanctions. Xerix's grin widened with every vote. He turned toward the Terran alcove, savoring Holt's pale face. "You see? Even your allies abandon you. Who stands with humanity now?" Holt's lips parted, but no words came. He looked like a man staring at the collapse of his world. Voss leaned close to him, her eyes locked on the Chancellor. "Steady, Ambassador. The tide is about to turn." Xerix noticed her composure and sneered. "Even now you pretend at dignity. A soldier's mask, nothing more. When this vote ends, you will return to your dust world and remember this moment as the day humanity's illusions died." Helena's voice, calm and flat, cut through the chamber. "You should be careful with your pronouncements, Chancellor. History is full of leaders who thought their power eternal." A murmur rippled through the delegates. A few glanced at her, unsettled by the iron in her tone. Xerix laughed, dismissing it as bravado. "The signal holds." In the Revenant's command center, alarms pulsed quietly as incoming orders updated across the fleet. The stealth armada spread, encircling Oris 9 like a predator's jaws closing in. Crew members exchanged sharp glances, their anticipation a current in the air. Lieutenant Aisha Ren, youngest on the bridge, whispered, "They have no idea we're here." Commander Cole gave her a brief nod. "That's the point." Voss remained still, her eyes fixed on the star map. A ring of Terran warships now surrounded the Council world. No alien sensor had twitched. The cliff tightens. Back in the chamber, the last votes neared. The tally was overwhelming. Holt looked defeated, his shoulders sagging. Xerix raised his hand for silence, his voice rising to declare the result. This Council united decrees. Helena rose. The single movement drew every gaze. Her posture was calm, her expression unreadable. Her voice was ice. Before you decree anything, Chancellor, look to your skies. Xerix faltered, the rhythm of his speech broken. What nonsense is this? But the chamber had stilled. Whispers spread. Delegates craned their necks toward the vast windows framing the gas giant beyond. For the first time in the session, uncertainty touched the air. Helena Voss stood tall, her gaze fixed on the stars beyond the glass, waiting. The chamber lights dimmed as the voting sequence neared completion. Colored glyphs glowed along the crystal walls, each one a verdict against humanity. Chancellor Xerix stood triumphant, basking in the echo of support. His tongue flicked between sharp teeth, savoring the moment. By this decree, he began, the Terran species will be bound, their fleets dismantled, their ambitions curbed forever. Helena Voss rose, cutting across his speech with a single calm sentence. Look to your skies, Chancellor. The words carried farther than she expected. Conversation stopped. Dozens of alien eyes turned toward the towering windows that opened to the void beyond Orus 9. At first, there was nothing, only the gas giant's swirling bands of ochre and violet. Then the shadows moved. The revelation. One by one, colossal shapes emerged from nothingness. Hulls the size of cities slid out of darkness, their outlines sharp against the planet's light. Dreadnoughts, carriers, destroyers, an entire fleet appeared as if born from the void itself. The vessels were black and angular, their surfaces absorbing light rather than reflecting it. A collective gasp swept the chamber. Some delegates rose in alarm, others froze, unable to comprehend what their eyes revealed. Council defense grids activated too late. Local patrol ships scrambled, their systems shrieking at the sudden presence of hundreds of warships they had never tracked. Xerix's expression faltered, disbelief cracking his mask of certainty. Impossible. No species can. Voss's voice cut him off, steady and cold. For decades you laughed while we worked. You spat on us, and we built in silence. You assumed we lacked vision. What you see now is not illusion. It is the end of your certainty. Her words carried over the rising panic. Outside, the human fleet shifted into a formation that encircled the Council world. Not a single weapon fired, yet the message was absolute, control was gone. The chamber in panic. Delegates shouted over one another, their voices shrill. A reptilian envoy hissed. How could they pass our sensors? A crystalline dignitary trembled, her form flickering with fear. Xerix slammed his claws against the platform, desperate to regain control. Trickery! This is deception! A false projection meant to frighten us! From the human alcove, Ambassador Holt found his voice at last, words sharpened by vindication. Does a false projection trigger your defense grid, Chancellor? Does it make your patrol ships flee like prey? The silence that followed was heavier than steel. Voss's ultimatum. Helena stepped forward, commanding the room with nothing but presence. Her voice lowered, forcing the chamber to lean in to hear. Humanity has endured every insult. We bore embargoes, sanctions, and scorn while we worked in the shadows. We prepared because we knew this day would come. You believed patience was weakness. It was survival. And it has ended. Xerix spat the words like venom. You dare threaten the Council? Her reply was a blade. Not a threat. A fact. Humanity will be recognized as an equal member, or we withdraw, and if you strike at us, you will discover how invisible war ends entire empires before they know they're bleeding. The chamber went still. Delegates shifted uneasily, glancing between each other, calculating survival. No one dared second the Chancellor's fury. The Chancellor's collapse. Xerix tried again, but the fire had left his voice. You think yourselves untouchable, but fleets can be destroyed. Technology can be broken. You are still. Helena raised a hand. The chamber screens lit with real-time feeds, Terran ships orbiting, every alien defense net blind to them. Gun batteries locked silently onto Council fortresses. The message was unmistakable. Resistance meant annihilation. Her words sliced through the silence. If your Dominion believes it can destroy us, try. We have already stood against extinction on our world. You will not frighten us with promises of war. For the first time in centuries, Xerix faltered. His eyes darted to his allies, searching for support. One by one, delegates avoided his gaze. The Kelvari Chancellor, who had mocked humanity as a child with fire, now stood alone, his arrogance crumbling before the cold math of survival. Decision in fear. The Council Speaker, an ancient being of mist contained within glass, finally rose. Its voice carried the weight of inevitability. The Council must reconsider. The evidence is clear. Humanity is not what we believed. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Several delegates who had mocked humanity moments ago now whispered support for recognition. None spoke for sanctions. Fear had rewritten their loyalties in seconds. Helena Voss watched without expression. She did not smile, did not gloat. Her stillness was more terrifying than any roar. The ultimatum delivered. Xerix made one last attempt, his voice hoarse. This cannot stand. You think you've won, Admiral, but this show of force will not last forever. Your kind will overreach, as it always has. Helena's gaze cut into him, sharp and merciless. Perhaps. But today, Chancellor, you have learned that we are not prey. Humanity asks for nothing more than respect. Deny it again, and you will see how long your empires survive in the dark. The chamber fell to silence. Outside, the human fleet held its position, unblinking, patient as stone. Resolution. At last, the speaker announced the reversal. The sanctions are withdrawn. Humanity will be recognized as a full member of this council, with all rights and standing. Let it be recorded. The chamber's crystals glowed with new votes, green where red had burned before. The decision was unanimous. Helena inclined her head slightly, not in thanks, but acknowledgement. She had not come for applause. She had come for certainty. Xerix lowered himself into his seat, claws shaking. The predator of the council now looked like prey cornered by something he never believed existed. His eyes burned with hatred, but his silence betrayed defeat. Ambassador Holt released a slow breath, disbelief and relief mingling. He turned to Helena, voice hushed. They'll never look at us the same way again. Her reply was even, stripped of triumph. Good. Let them remember what silence hides. Closing. The council session dissolved into chaos, delegates rushing to secure alliances, recalculating everything they thought they knew. Above them all, the image of Terran warships surrounding their world burned into memory. Outside, the fleet remained still, cloaked in silence, an armada of shadows reminding the galaxy that humanity's patience had run out. And in the chamber, Admiral Helena Voss stood like a statue carved from iron, the embodiment of a new truth etched into every alien mind. For the first time, they feared the species they once mocked.